Sis, you want some nice fabric. You want to sew something nice, or you just want to have some new fabric. So you've got money, right? You've got money. Now you want to go to the market, say maybe Makola markets, because that's where it is happening. You go to the market, you want to buy the fabric. You're overwhelmed because the options are plenty. You don't know which one to choose. So you buy here, you buy there, you buy, and now you don't even have transportation to go home. How? I know Makola market and I know shopping for fabric can be very overwhelming. For us, look, this thing has happened to me several times where I go shopping for a particular collection and I come back and I feel like, okay, so how are we going to use this fabric, and what was I thinking when I bought this one? Sometimes you go with good intentions and you come back with things you cannot wear or you cannot use, or you overspend the budget and then you have nothing to buy accessories. Okay, this is the tip. Over time, this is what we have started doing. And we started this a while ago, and it has helped us control ourselves when we are shopping for fabric. Now, the first thing you need to do, first thing you need to do is to make a list. You have to make a list. Like, don't even pretend like, oh, I've got this under control. When you get to that market and you see those beautiful colors and those prints, you'll be confused. So you make a list first. Now, the list should contain the amount of fabric you want to buy and other things. So if you want to buy maybe accessories like buttons, you want to buy other things, make sure you allocate an estimated amount of money for everything you want to buy. So if you know that you have to buy maybe 20 yards of fabric, you don't go overboard. All right, so now that the list is done, you have to decide on colors. I think this simplifies the process. When I'm designing clothes and it's time to source for fabric, let's just say shirts, and I want to have 4 shirts in the collection, I sometimes allocate each shirt with a color. I want something predominantly black, one predominantly blue, one predominantly gray, and maybe another predominantly blue. So when you know these main colors, when you are shopping, you can shop for these particular colors. You don't want to come home and all the fabric you bought were pink, and you have men's shirts to do. You are forcing men to wear pink. Why? Don't do that. So you have to decide the color schemes. You can call it color schemes or colors or predominant colors. So once you do that, it's easier. You can change the color schemes or colors when you get to the market, but make sure you know that you're replacing this blue with gray, and make that decision concretely, and don't just buy randomly, and know that, okay, even though I wanted a blue predominant fabric for a shirt, I'm changing it to gray, but it's going to be for a shirt as well. So that works out fine. Now, the next thing you have to do is buy from trusted sellers. If you do this all the time like me, you know the people who sell in the market that you can trust. It's not really about the size of the stall, but the rapport you have with the seller, the quality of the fabric that they use. And if you bought a fabric from some seller and it's had issues, I don't recommend you go there again. I remember one time I bought a fabric from a seller, and she sold, I think it was just a little piece of fabric, and I wanted to get 6 yards, and she's like half piece, and she sold 5 yards to me for 6 yards. And I know she knew this because she counted it before she gave it to me. So some of the sellers are not trustworthy at all, and don't just bother, okay? Stick to the ones you can trust and buy from them. Another thing you should do is, when you see a new fabric, it's very normal to see something you did not budget for. It's very normal. And sometimes you don't know what's on the market till you get there. And maybe this is a fabric you've always wanted to have, or this is something so mind-blowing. When you see something new and you absolutely love it, ask yourself questions. Important questions to ask yourself is, what are you going to use it for? What are you going to use it for? Oh, if you ask yourself that question and you have a good answer, like, oh yeah, we need to have a woman's dress in the collection, which we don't have yet, and this will complement some other fabric we have, so that could make that dress. You have done well, buy it. But if you really don't have a use for the fabric, if you think about it and you're like, oh, but it's nice. Usually it is nice fabric, will stay in your wardrobe or your workshop for years. And I'm talking from experience, and you never use them. So always ask yourself questions. Always try and imagine what its use is going to be before you purchase. So these are the tips I have used to be able to streamline what I do in my business and to get our fabric and reduce our fabric waste, because fabric waste is a real thing. And fabric waste is not just the fabric that you cut and sew and the pieces that are left. Fabric waste is also fabric that you've bought and it's just sitting there. It's literally a waste, and it's making your expenses go higher than they should. In a world where we are all trying to be sustainable, we are all trying to be as minimalistic as possible, we are all trying to save and use things as much as possible, these are the tips you absolutely need to follow, and don't overbuy. So if you follow all these tips, you have enough money in your pocket to not worry about so many things. So this is my tip for you. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, drop them in the comment section and we'll answer all of them for you. Bye.